Okay, the meeting come to order. First item is to approve the agenda. Have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Have a motion to have a second. Second. Have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next item is to approve the minutes of the May 12, 2015 regular meeting and the June 2nd, 2015 recess meeting. Do I hear a motion? Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next is recognition. Mr. Carter has schools with the highest percentage of attendance.
I'd like to recognize St. Charles Elementary for having the highest percentage of attendance for the month of May. They came in at 97.2%, which is outstanding. Jonesville Middle came in a close second at 96.1%. So we want to congratulate those schools for a job well done. And certainly 97.2% is a fantastic percentage of attendance. So congratulate Mr. Dean and staff at St. Charles for that.
And next is public expression, and we have from Mountain Empire Community College, William Akers, Dr. Ratcliffe, and Jerry Glass.
Thank you all for agreeing to hear us this evening. You said you got handouts coming through, and I know that your time is valuable and you have a lot on your agenda. Everybody hear me okay? I'm an old school teacher from Wise County back in the day, so I usually never had to have a microphone anyhow. So anyway, but we're here just to present and answer questions, primarily to answer questions if you have them, on the proposed dual enrollment EMT program for the Career Technical Center at Lehigh. And what brought this about, just a brief history, is a couple of years ago, Mountain Empire Community College got a federal grant to put EMT in several high schools throughout Southwest Virginia. It was a cooperative effort with Southwest, Virginia Highlands, and Wytheville community colleges, so it was throughout the region. So with that, we got over $100,000 to purchase equipment and to administrate getting things placed and so forth. And we're at this point, we have active and successful programs in Wise and Scott, Smith, and Grayson counties right now. Wythe County will be coming online in the fall, and we're down to just one more pod of equipment. We've been talking with Bristol and hope to be looking at Dickinson County soon. So this last pot of equipment is going to go somewhere, and it's first come, first served. The dollar figure on that's about $17,000. We'd like for you all to have it. So if you can see fit to make this happen in the coming fall, it's yours. So right now it's still available and it hasn't been committed anywhere else. Just in brief about what EMT is, it's the basic level of care certification for being an attendant on an ambulance. Now there's levels above that. Paramedic being the highest, but you got your EMT, an advanced EMT, an intermediate, and a paramedic. The paramedic, we teach all of those at Mountain Empire Community College, but the highest level paramedic is an associate's degree program, very similar to a registered nurse. And we're hope to continue to offer that. Actually, the enrollment at Mountain Empire for paramedic is the highest it's ever been for this coming fall semester, and so we're really encouraged about that. But in Lee County, it's probably one of the lowest numbers in the state as far as paramedics. So y'all could really use some folks with emergency medical training down here, and we would love to provide that for you. And the first start is if we can get the kids interested. Kids being, you'd have to be at least 16 years old, so we're kind of targeting your juniors and your seniors. With this program, there is and I'll just, so as not to skip over anything, but I don't want to go just item for item here. The second page past the cover letter describes the program in general, about being dual enrollment and leading to an associate's degree at the college and so forth. And then the third page there tells you the breakdown of what is taught in an EMT class. And I didn't want to dismiss that, but I was trying to get back to get over quickly for the sake of time to let you know what your kids, the prerequisites for getting into the program. And that is to be 16 years old, no criminal history. Hopefully at this age they don't have one or not much of one. And then there are some academic benchmarks that they need to meet before coming into the program. And that is that they test at the MTE 1 and 2, that's placement testing at levels for mathematic ability. And then the ENF 1, that's the new test for reading and writing. As long as they pass above those benchmarks, then they're eligible. And then we need them to have scored a 400 or better, basically passed their biology SOL. That, along with a 2.75 GPA, will, I won't say ensure, but it really gets them on the right track to be successful in this program. This is a lot of academic rigor to this. They will take a national board exam at the end, both written and practical. So they have to go through several practical stations and test at those successfully, and then they have to go take a computerized national board exam and to become an EMT. So it's I've been in EMS for almost 40 years now. Started when I was 15. I took an EMT class when I was in high school and just stuck with it ever since, and it's come a long way. I joke that my EMT book was about a 1/4 inch thick, and now they're about 3 inches thick. And so it is what it is. That those things you can't change. But anyway, with that said, if they're successful in the program, then they become an EMT. It's an excellent thing to put on your resume, whether you're applying to college or you're applying for a job. Many of you, if not all of you, have been in positions to hire people, and you've looked at resumes and screened and decided you're going to offer the job to and who you're not. And I dare say that if you ever saw it certified as an EMT on there, it wasn't a negative thing. It's that certification helps whether you want to be a coal miner or a doctor. It is advantageous to have that on your resume. In fact, it's come a standard every summer. I get calls, and we have in EMT class at the college, people who are in a bachelor's degree, or maybe they've gotten their bachelor's degree, but they're trying to get into medical school or PA school. And they say, my advisor at the med school or my recruiter says, I need EMT. Can you get me EMT? They need to see that on a medical school application now. And so that's, if somebody can get that in high school, man, wouldn't that be great? With that said, I think I have hit the high points. I don't want to fail to also stress that at the completion of this program, they would not only get EMT certification, they would get a career study certificate from Mountain Empire Community College. It's a 9-credit program, and you can offer a certificate with 9 credits. So they would not only get the dual enrollment, they would get a career study certificate, they would get nationally certified as an EMT. There's just a lot of good things that they get with this program. With that said, I've talked enough, and I will answer your questions if you have any.
I have a couple. Are you allowed to tell us, or would you tell us who else around here is in this program? You said that several counties around or school systems around were already?
We have active programs in Wise County, Scott County, Smith County, and Grayson County.
And the second thing,
Mhm.
you got any sort of close to figure, because figures come in big to us. It says
Absolutely.
state federal grants will cover most all startup positions. What's most to you and me sometimes is a totally different figure.
Simply put, your responsibility would be to fund the pay of the instructor. If you have someone already on staff who is credentialed, or we could credential to teach the class, well, then you're already paying them. If you don't, and some don't, we've had counties go either way with this, then that you don't necessarily have to have a full-time position. One county's looking at hiring somebody half a day, and they come in and they teach half a day, and of course that would be a part-time position. Others got a full-time position. So it's just however you are able to do it. Good questions, thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Appreciate you coming.
Very much. Our contact numbers are in the packet, and we look forward to hearing from you. Right.
Anyone else for public expression? Okay, next is reports. First is the Virginia Index of Performance Distinguished Achievement Award. Mr. Carter.
We'd like to congratulate St. Charles Elementary School for being selected to receive the 2015 Virginia Index of Performance Board of Education Distinguished Achievement Award. A school that receives this distinguished award for being fully accredited, and they also are recognized for not having to write a required school improvement plan under the ESEA flexibility waiver, and for making significant progress toward the educational goals that have been established by the Board of Education and the Governor. So congratulations to St. Charles Elementary and their staff for a job well done.
Okay, community eligibility provisions. Mr. Carter.
As you probably are aware, Dorothy McCullough, the First Lady of Virginia, has initiated a project, the ending of childhood hunger in Virginia. And as a result of that, we have a program called the Community Eligibility Provision. And this provision will allow us to serve breakfast and lunch meals at no charge to students that are enrolled in the schools regardless of their income, or which means less paperwork for us and less time spent in the lunch line, and of course hopefully fewer hungry kids. Schools that have 62.5% identified eligible students are eligible to receive the federal reimbursement from USDA at the same rate that we would for meals that are served in our schools. And we are, Ms. Doherty actually is working on this project, and we're trying to get as many schools as we possibly can qualified, because we can and are allowed to group schools together as long as the group as a whole, their average is 62.5% at free and reduced. So hopefully we'll be able to get a number of our schools approved for the community eligibility project.
Okay, next is the VACOR risk control recommendations. Mr. Carter.
You have a list in your packet of the Mr. Engel's response to the VACOR, our property casualty insurance. They've actually made some recommendations, and this is, and we provided those to you at an earlier meeting. This is actually the response to those recommendations that Mr. Engel's been working on.
Okay, thank you. Kansas School Board Association policy updates, Ms. Adams.
Good evening. What I have for you this evening is a packet such as this, and it says, for your review for the June meeting. This is a packet that is a strike-through format, and this will allow you to see what has been struck out and what is going to have the change for the policy. Want to bring to your attention BBBA, I think I've circled that one, and GAD, that is the new policy. And we will have this for adoption, the June meeting. Thank you.
Okay, next is enrollment, Mr. Carter.
As of the end of May, our enrollment in Lee County is 3,098 students. That's down 2 students from the previous month and down 74 students from this same period last year.
Okay, next is financial, Ms. Lambert.
Good evening. This is a summary of our financial activity for the month of May. Excuse me. Our revenue total was $2,759,617.65. For the year to date, we've received $29,957,498.37. As of May 31st, we have received 76.31% of our estimated revenues for the year. Our expenditures for the month of May, our general fund payroll and accounts payable totaled $2,541,088.82. Title I payroll and accounts payable totaled $132,833.64. Head Start payroll was $87,019.70. And insurance payments totaled $323,071.88. Our expenditure total for the month of May was $3,084,014.04, and year to date, $29,745,147.48. As of May 31st, we had used 74.1% of our appropriations for the year.
Anyone have questions? Thank you, Ms. Lambert. Okay, next is the action agenda items. First is consider approval of the 2015-2016 consolidated grant application. Mr. Carter.
Of course, you have a copy of the application in your packet. Mr. McCann has prepared, and of course is unable to be here tonight, but he has asked that the board consider approval of this application. If there's any changes or recommended amendments to the application, that can be done at any time. I think maybe there's some typos or different things that might have been found in it, and we certainly can correct those, and any amendments that you would like to see added, we can do that as long as it meets the federal guidelines. But we'd like to ask the board to consider approval of this plan.
Okay, do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, have a motion to have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion. Okay, next is consider approval of invitation to bid for the Lee High School gymnasium floor. Mr. Carter.
We have a bid packet prepared for your review. It's an invitation to bid for the gym floor at Lee High School, and I'd like to ask the board to approve the invitation to bid so that we may present that and start taking bids for the gym floor to try to get that replaced and completed as soon as possible. Right now, we're actually probably going to be running a little bit into the next school year before that's possible for that to happen. I don't know if Mr. Hobbs has anything you'd like to add to that or not.
I think Mr. Probably want to have the board go ahead and authorize you and I to consult and go ahead and issue. I think we still have a few blanks in the draft that's being presented tonight. So as you look at that, you'll see some highlighted spots. We're working on clarifying. We want to make sure that we give a full scope of the work that's going to be bid out. So those highlighted spots are going to be fleshed out and a little bit more detail given before we would issue that. But we hope to do that with your approval, hopefully this week.
Mr. Carter, I'd like to note that we need to fully expedite this as quick as we can. We're not talking about school year here. Actually, we're talking about July and August with volleyball, basketball. I mean, we're not talking about the beginning of school year. Is there some without having to look through here, is there some place in here where we can ask whoever the bid we choose to accept, put a time frame on this?
There is, forgive me, I don't know which page it is, but one of those blanks that we'll need to fill out, we're proposing that the contract that's going to be awarded as a result of the bid, that there will be a time is of the essence clause that will be sort of a drop dead date, if you will, and that liquidated damages will be contained within that contract. So if the contractor fails to achieve that date, there will be damages automatically assessed for each day of delay.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the invitation to bid?
So move.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion? Okay, next is consider approval of the resolution regarding the procurement of non-professional services of athletic officials. Mr. Carter.
Just like to ask the board to approve this resolution. As you're aware, that we no longer have the Southwest organization, so we would like to ask you to approve the resolution authorizing AOA to be their athletic officials for this coming year.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any discussion? Okay, next is to consider approval of the summer nutrition program with the Appalachian Community Action Agency. Mr. Carter.
We have an agreement with the Appalachian Community Action Agency, and they plan on providing a summer feeding program at Dryden Elementary. Will be both breakfast and lunch. At Edendale Elementary, both breakfast and lunch. Thomas Walker High School, both breakfast and lunch. And at St. Charles Elementary, lunch only. I'd just like to ask the board to approve the program.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Any discussion? Okay, next is consider approval of the school menu prices. Mr. Carter.
I'd like to ask the board to consider approval of full and reduced prices for the next school year for 2015-16. Elementary middle, breakfast $1.10, lunch $1.90. High school, breakfast $1.30, lunch $2.20. Adults, $2 for breakfast and $2.75 for lunch. Reduced price meals for elementary and middle is 30 cents, lunch 40 cents. For high school, breakfast is 30 cents and lunch is 40 cents. And this is in compliance with the Virginia Department of Education's requirements.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next is to consider approval of the extended year.
Just like to ask the board to authorize approval of the extended school year for some of our special needs students that will run from June the 15th through July the 2nd.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So,
Have a motion, have a second?
second.
Have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next is to consider approval of July the 4th holidays. Mr. Carter.
Just like to ask the board to consider approval of July the 3rd and July the 6th for the July 4th holidays for 12-month employees.
So
Okay.
move.
Do I have a motion, have a second? Have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next is consider approval of closing of the 2014-2015 books. Mr. Carter.
Ms. Lambert and I would just like to ask the board for permission to close the books at the end of this year, put out the end of the fiscal year.
I make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, next is reports and recommendations of the board. Mr. Williams?
Sharing the bills.
Oh, I missed it.
Payment of
I thought
bills.
that was part of it. All right. Backing up to I, consider approval of payment of the bills. Have a motion to pay the bills.
So move.
Have a second.
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next is reports and recommendations of the board. Mr. Williams?
I have none.
Okay, Mr. Harper?
I got none.
Jesse?
Just a couple of congratulations. I was unable to attend either of the graduations, and I'd like to congratulate the graduates of Thomas Walker and Lee High School, and also congratulations to St. Charles for their accomplishment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Twig.
I have none.
Okay, Mr. Harper, you really sent to the school.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we move into executive closed session to consider personnel section 2.2-3711A1 and the student discipline section 2.2-3711A2 of the Code of Virginia.
Okay, have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Have a motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?